.com/careers to learn more.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate. Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air,
and Electrical.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of B.J. Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Lafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. This is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you as usual. No AD today. Jay Foreman will be joining me at 9:30, and he will hang out with me throughout the rest of the show. AD dealing with just under the weather. We will say that. Thoughts, obviously, with AD today, as hopefully it's nothing too serious. Man, talking around to a lot of folks, sounds like there's some pretty nasty stuff going on again and being passed around just around this area, around Nebraska and stuff like that. So hopefully everybody that is staying relatively healthy and safe as well. And we hope AD quick recovery and everything kind of just passes on by. Not the flu for AD, it doesn't sound like, but just not feeling the greatest here today. And so just taking a precautionary day is Aaron Davis. And so obviously we hope that he everything goes well and passes by him. But once again, Nick Sainert with you. Jay Foreman will join me in about 20 minutes or so as we round out the show. Going to be a loaded show for you. How about this? I just literally 5 seconds ago got a text from a friend of the program, friend of mine, Peyton Borders, Coach Peyton Borders of Nebraska men's basketball. Their recruiting coordinator is going to be joining the show today at 10:30 a.m. So we will go ahead and start off with that one, that Peyton Borders of Nebraska men's basketball joins the show at 10:30 this morning, and it's going to be a great conversation with him. I've been trying to get him on the show the last couple of weeks as they've just continued to obviously, take the college basketball world by storm. Nobody really expected Nebraska men's basketball to be 15-0, 4-0 in the conference. They stand alone at in first place of the Big Ten standings right now. And man, oh man, if you were like me, you enjoyed what you saw last night. They won a game against Ohio State 72-69 that we'll dive much deeper into. But we will once again talk to Nebraska men's basketball recruiting coordinator Peyton Borders later on today in the show at 10:30. But also with that is the contrast in feelings of the fan base around basketball. And obviously things are going superiorly well. I mean, historically well for Nebraska men's basketball right now. And then on the other side in Nebraska football, it feels dramatically different around the fan base. The vibe in the fan base is different. And it did feel that way, I think, even before the Kenny Minchey news came out yesterday, where Kenny Minchey flips while he's in the portal. He flips to the Kentucky Wildcats after committing to the Huskers. And all reports indicate that he's already put pen to paper there for the Wildcats and that he's officially signed with Kentucky. And new head coach Will Stein. Will Stein, obviously his time at Oregon and leading Bo Nix, leading Dante Moore potentially was something that Kenny Minchey liked the idea of. Nebraska, this is where I've talked about it before the last couple of months. Nebraska, the development piece, yes, NIL is so much, it's driven by a lot of money, obviously, right? But I think that we are all naive to think that that's the only thing that truly matters. I think a lot of these guys, I think this reigns true for Dylan Raiola, to be fair. A lot of these guys want to know, hey, I'm in a spot where I can get to the next level. And Nebraska, unfortunately, hasn't done a great job, a phenomenal job, especially against the teams that they're recruiting against. And not that Kentucky has, but Will Stein has obviously something to hang his hat on with Bo Nix and Dante Moore. Nebraska doesn't have a whole lot of ground to stand on at some of those key positions. Offensive line, quarterback. Hopefully Emmett Johnson helps you out a little bit in the backfield in that conversation. But other than that, just not a lot of ground for Nebraska to stand on right now. And so Nebraska will go to option 2, plan B at the quarterback position. And we'll get Jay's thoughts on that throughout the course of the show. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys the entire show today, whether it's when I'm with here by myself for the next 20 minutes, whether it's with Jay Foreman here at 9:30 to 11 o'clock, or even when Coach Peyton Borders, recruiting coordinator of Nebraska men's basketball, joins the show at 10:30 today. Whenever, if you have a question for Peyton, let us know. 464-5685. You can always reach out to me on Twitter, on X, at Nick_Sainert. We have to, here's the deal. We have to lead off the show with your 15-0 Nebraska men's basketball team. How about the Huskers? Another night that they won a game where they didn't shoot the ball exceptionally well. And frankly, one of the keys that we talked about yesterday for AD and I yesterday was turnover numbers. Nebraska 13th in the country in turnovers committed per game, less than I believe it was less than 11 turnovers per game. Last night, slightly above their average. They had 12 turnovers committed as a team. They only forced 8. But here we are again saying Nebraska won a game where they shot 8 of 29 from the three-point line, less than 28% from beyond the three-point line. And a game where, against Michigan State, this is where, once again, I keep going back to Nebraska wins games in different ways. Nebraska wins games in different ways. Friday, we saw it where they lean on their defense, and they did so last night. Last night was a very strong defensive performance. But they lean on their defense against Michigan State. They hit a historic low number of 2-point shots in terms of college basketball history. Fewest number of 2-point shots made in a college basketball game where a team beats a ranked opponent. Nebraska hit 5 2-point shots on Friday and still got the win. And then last night, on a day where Rienk Mast, for the most part, he at one point had 11 points on 12 shots, which is not a great statistic. Rienk Mast finished the day 5 of 14 from the field, 1 of 6 from beyond the three-point line, only got to the free throw line once after that and one opportunity. Had 4 rebounds, did Rienk. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. That's a fine stat line. I think if you would talk to Nebraska fans, that's a great stat line if it's a Berke Bayukten But for Rienk Mast, and yet here you are, Nebraska still celebrating a 72-69 victory over the Buckeyes last night. Bryce Sanford, we go back to that Illinois game. What was the big start for Nebraska, and who was that who led the charge for the Huskers against Illinois? It was Bryce Sanford. Sanford started out hotter than crap against Illinois in Champaign. A big reason why Nebraska was able to win on the road in Champaign. Last night, Bryce, 3 for 11 from the field, 3 for 9 from beyond the three-point line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 11, 3, and 2. Okay, that's been fine. But games like last night, it felt like Braden Frager stole the show after all the adversity, all the pushback that he got, and partially, I'll say it, rightfully so, right? Freshman learning some things in a mistake, in a moment that was a mistake. But Braden Frager comes back, plays 25 minutes, goes 6 of 9 from the field, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, only 1 turnover, and also 1 steal. That's a big-time moment. And you could tell watching that game last night that Braden Frager, I don't want to say demands the ball in big-time situations. I don't think he's obviously seen enough time and played enough to demand a ball in big moment situations. But I think it speaks a lot to what the staff feels and how they feel about Braden Frager of when he played some of those minutes last night. And Braden Frager did a really nice job in those 25 minutes. Cale Jacobson was fine, 18 minutes. I also, you have to shout out Berke, 8.7 boards for Berke. We've also seen Berke kind of shift it from maybe a quicker trigger out beyond the three-point line to let me try to impact the team in other ways. We're seeing this team shift in the way that they play. And not wholesale, that's not what I'm getting at, but it's guys figuring out, okay, how can I impact the game in the most positive of ways or most effective of ways? And for all the negative things that Husker fans, early in the season talked about Berke Bayukten, he's been crucial in the 20-plus minutes that he played last night, especially defensively. Nebraska, for the most part, limited guys like Bruce Thornton. Tilly, a freshman down low, struggled immensely last night. There were a lot of times, I thought it was very fascinating. There were a lot of times last night where the officiating, and I'm not a blame the officials guy, the officiating kind of caused me to scratch my head a little bit. And it was funny because I looked up on KenPom. They rate the officials. Nebraska had, in the game last night, the top 3 officials in college basketball, according to KenPom, which I think is a fascinating statistic. And they let them play for the most part. And there were instances where it felt like Ohio State might have gotten away with a little bit more of a physical play than Nebraska would have. But ultimately, Nebraska did a really good job of adapting to how the game was going to be played last night. I thought, Nebraska, I feel like we're all still kind of waiting, and I mean this in the least negative way as possible. We're all waiting for the wheels to fall off. off of the tracks. And it's Nebraska gets into the top 25, and we're like, all right, last time they were there, they played some teams at home. They lost, I believe, a game at home, and it's okay. Then they were outside of the top 25. And then you sit there and you got some easy games against some North Dakota. Then you beat Illinois on the road. You're like, okay, Nebraska's going to move up. They're going to be inside the top 15, and they end up being 13th in the country. And then it's like, okay, more tests. You have New Hampshire. You feel good about that. But, all right, is Michigan State the game that they just come out and they look flat and they just look unprepared and they don't really know, they don't look like the top 13 team that we expected or that we're seeing to this point through 14 games of the year. And then they don't. And then they come up and on a Monday night after a rather quick turnaround, there was a lot of text yesterday. Once again, 402-464-5685. A lot of text yesterday on the show about concerned about maybe a rather quick turnaround Friday to Monday. How does Nebraska respond? They travel to Columbus, and a place that, similar to Champaign, they do not play well at. They have not played well at the Value City Arena in Columbus. But for the most part, look at last night. They start off hot. They go up by double digits. They kept that lead for the most part throughout the entirety of the first half. There were moments where Ohio State went on a run, both late in the first half and then early in the second half. And what did Nebraska do? Even on days where Rick Mast was not playing nearly to his standard or to what we expect from Rick Mast, he still is the dude. Like, Nebraska still looks to their veteran leadership. It's nobody just trying to do their own thing. And I think you go back into the early years of Fred Hoiberg, and this is where figuring out guys that fit your team is so important. Sure, stylistically, but also I would say, from a personality standpoint, you go back to the early years of Fred Hoiberg, it felt like a lot of me shows. And it felt like a lot of like, here, we're struggling. Let me go ahead and take this on. And with guys like Bryce McGowan, you let that happen because he was a supreme talent and obviously one of the highest rated recruits in Nebraska basketball history. And that's why you bring him in. But there were also other guys that it had no business being in the spots that they were, that Nebraska just kind of had to throw there. And this year, and especially last year, and ever since really Sam Griesel, it's just felt like the complete opposite. You go back to guys, Sam Griesel, Derek Walker, I try very hard to, in these moments where Nebraska is 15-0 and 4-0 in the conference, and they got another big one on Saturday against Indiana on the road at 11 a.m., and it feels like, once again, must-watch TV, must-see TV, make plans for Nebraska basketball matchups. I really try to really focus on, hey, let's not forget who started this whole thing. Seriously, go back to the Sam Griesel, Derek Walker years. Because those guys, and Emmanuel Bandamel, I think we forget sometimes what he would have done for this team, what he did in a short amount of time, what he maybe have done from the sidelines. Guys like Juwan Gary, this feels so vindictive for everybody that endured all the pain and suffering and sadness and droughts and losing streaks and embarrassing performances and embarrassing streaks over the last 6 years. It feels like this is just so vindicating for everybody that was involved on those teams. 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Let's get to some of these texts here because they are rolling in. Derek in a car leads us off on the show. Nick, the crowd at the Value Center was anything but a value. It was more like a funeral home atmosphere than a home court advantage. Thornton just seemed to be a bit gimpy too, if not sure if he was injured, but it's a great road win. Yeah, let's not discredit that. Let's not discredit that. Winning on the road is hard, and Nebraska's now done it multiple times. They've won on neutral sites, which is difficult to do in its own right. We forget that crowd at the T-Mobile Center when they played Kansas State, a very pro-Kansas State crowd. Nebraska fans traveled that weekend or that day, but let's not get it twisted. That's a much closer drive to the Little Apple in Manhattan, Kansas than it is from Lincoln. And Manhattan fans, Kansas State fans, they showed up that day. This is an impressive resume for Nebraska. Wins against Oklahoma, wins against Kansas State, New Mexico as well. Multiple neutral site games, multiple road wins. That Illinois win will travel. Nebraska starts to struggle. They get on a skid, hypothetically speaking, at the end of this year. You know, it still hangs value. That road win in Champaign. That road win last night in Columbus. It's a big deal. It is a massive deal. And you guys know me. I don't intentionally downplay things, but a lot of times just the way that I come across, maybe sometimes on the air, I can downplay it. I am done downplaying this team. This is it. Nebraska won a necessary game last night. And as I try to think glass half full, this is going to sound a lot of glass half empty-esque here today, where let's say Nebraska loses on Saturday. All right, you went on a road trip against two pretty good teams. Indiana's going to be an NCAA tournament team under head coach Darian DeFries. And Ohio State's a bubble team who's got an experienced point guard in Bruce Thornton, a really good guard and really good shooter in Mobley. And you go 1-1 on the trip. Worst case scenario right now, you go 1-1 on the trip. You go back home and you're 15-1 and 4-1 in the conference at worst. Before you have some obviously meaningful games at home, but you feel really good about any of your chances down there at PBA. 402-464-5685, Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Want to hear your thoughts for sure on the show. Here's this for you. D-Train says, I think the crown was the best thing for this team. Unnamed texter says, you know your team is good for it when the most important possession of the game out of a timeout, you call for a one-on-one isolation with your non-starter freshman, and he delivers. Obviously talking about Braden Frager. There were moments last night, and this is meaningful. Like these are the details within the game that I want to make sure we kind of point out to. There were moments where things were maybe not drawn up for Frager, because I thought Ohio State at a lot of the time last night did a really good job defensively on Nebraska. But there were moments last night where, once again, Braden Frager was looking for the ball in late shot clock situations. And Nebraska was relatively okay with giving it to him. This is one thing that we've kind of learned from Fred Hoiberg over the last couple of years, is that guys that deserve to be on the floor, they're going to play. And in a day and age where it feels like, obviously the NIL component and department is such a fascinating conversation. It's a polarizing conversation. Like it's kind of a breath of fresh air to sit here and go, yeah, you don't feel like you have that on Nebraska basketball right now. And you don't feel like that's really trending that way. Obviously, everybody's clamoring for more investment, right? I've been one that said, hey, look, it's not a secret that Nebraska necessarily doesn't have the largest amount of investment into men's basketball. They're fine, but they don't have the largest amount. So let's not get it twisted, though, when I say this, that even going forward, I think the reason why I'm okay with saying, hey, I go ahead and give X amount of money to Fred Hoiberg or do whatever you need to do. And Husker fans, correct me if I'm wrong. A large reason why I feel this way is because I have confidence that it's not going to get misused. Where maybe with other programs, you feel a little different about it. And I've been searching for a way to kind of explain that. And I think that's the easiest way I can relay that information to you guys. Is I truly don't feel like I have to worry about Fred Hoiberg and Luca Virgilio in his GM role mismanaging money. And I go back and forth whether or not we should compare football and basketball, because I don't think it's not apples to apples in terms of roster size, roster management, types of guy. Like it's different. And it's not to say that you can't use the same thought process on them, but it's not apples to apples. So you can't sit there and go, okay, take away money from football and use it to basketball. I don't know if it's that simple. Maybe you can make it that simple. I don't know. But I think as Husker fans, we sit here and go, okay, man, why do we feel oddly confident? And comfortability always brings along this like laziness connection with it. But I don't think it's when I say comfort with Nebraska men's basketball and Fred Hoiberg, I don't think that's what we feel like. But there's this odd amount of confidence and comfort that, yeah, whatever resources additionally that you provide Fred Hoiberg going forward and his staff, it's not going to be mismanaged. And that in turn, also paired with wins, it allows you to say, hey, I'm okay opening up the pocketbooks a little bit more. I'm willing to spend a little bit more on tickets to go see Nebraska versus Oregon next week. All those things benefit the program directly. And so we're seeing it play out. Everything that we've talked about, what could potentially come in football, is actually unfolding at Pinnacle Bank Arena with Nebraska men's basketball. Maybe I'm off on that. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you agree. 402-464-5685. Honda of Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys. Nebraska wins at 72-69 on the road against Ohio State. They will face off against the Indiana Hoosiers on Saturday. 11 a.m. tip-off for that one on the Big Ten Network. It's going to be a good one. Make plans. Watch it. Husker Hoops, Saturday, 11 a.m. against Darian DeVries. First year at Indiana, was previously at West Virginia. Before that was at Drake. His son, Tucker DeVries, obviously is a really good player as well. Excelled at Drake and then got hurt at West Virginia and ultimately then transferred to follow his dad to Indiana. So with that being said, plenty more that we can get into there. A lot of thoughts on what kind of some of the stuff that I just said about trust. Trust is earned. Fred has earned the trust. Fred isn't looking for stars necessarily. We'll get to those thoughts as well. But when we come back, we will be joined. Jay Foreman's going to hang out with me for the rest of the show. Remember, if you just missed it and joined a little bit late, we are going to be joined by Peyton Borders, the recruiting coordinator for Nebraska men's basketball. We can talk about how this team, how was it constructed? What did they look for going forward in the roster construction department through the NIL conversation as well? We'll talk to Peyton about that at 10:30. He's going to join the show via phone on our Allo VIP line. All right, let's step aside. It's The Drive. No AD today. A little under the weather. Hopefully AD is back tomorrow. Jay Foreman, the Husker Hall of Famer, joins me coming up next on The Drive.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
The time is now. Lincoln Marathon and Half Marathon registration is now open, and prices are rising. The sooner you sign up, the less you pay. Set the goal, start training. Register now at lincolnmarathon.org. Race day is May 3rd.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I Parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I Parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to start strong, so you can give everything you've got. From plate-loaded strength equipment and functional training areas to treadmills, stair climbers, and free weights. Our equipment is best in class, and our clubs are right around the corner, so you can make this your strongest year yet. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, January 9th. You coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in December, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep the clubs out year-round. Book your holiday parties at Double Eagle Golf and make plans to join them for a New Year's Eve party. Gift cards make a great stocking stuffer for Christmas, and don't forget to look ahead to 2026 as spring leagues begin in February. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all of the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Bagels & Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels & Joe.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert. No AD today. AD, a little under the weather, so we will hopefully he gets better. And with that being said, I asked my good friend, Jay Foreman, to stop on in. Jay, good morning. Thanks for hanging out, my friend.
What's happening? Good morning. Good morning to you guys out here.
How are you doing, Jay?
I'm doing all right, man.
Well, before we get into Nebraska football, that's what we're going to talk about in this segment. We do have a phone call. We have a phone call 402-464-5685. Nate is on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Nate, thanks for being patient, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, congratulations to the basketball team. It's great when the basketball team wins. It's cute. When the volleyball team wins, it's good. When the football team wins, it's bliss. It's football state around here. So let's talk about that. Let's call it as it is. Football, it's chaos. In my opinion, it's chaotic, okay? The NIL, man, and where this is all going, I think with the trust, it's hard for fans to trust the football program right now because the fans cannot identify with it, with the offense. The fans of Nebraska football do not identify with the current state of the Nebraska football team. Even if they did bring in all these new players and everything, I don't think it'd be even enough to fix with what's going on offensively, because the players you're getting, what are you getting them for? Because we don't even know what kind of offense we are. Like, I don't know if we're a run team or a pass team. So that leads me to spearheading to this point. Do you guys think, and my question is, do you guys think it'd be a good idea after Rule fails here? Because I think that's what's ultimately going to happen. I really do, guys. I'm not panicking. I'm just kind of, as a Husker fan, I've seen this song and dance before. I think we can all agree that we kind of see where this is going. So after this is over, because the schedule next year just isn't going to allow much success at all. I mean, I'm being real here. After that's all said and done, since Nebraska doesn't like to spend a lot of money on NIL because we're conservative with the money, I mean, when you're getting outbid by Kentucky, that tells me everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we need to embrace the style that how we play football? We being like Army, Navy, hire a Newberry, hire Monken, and is it okay for Nebraska? And tell me if I'm wrong. Is it okay if Nebraska, in this day and age of football, since we're not going to spend a lot of money on NIL, to adopt a run-heavy, triple option type team? Is that okay in the Big Ten? Could it work? And I think the fans would identify with it. I know it wins. I mean, I saw Navy play Cincinnati in the bowl game, and Navy just crushed them. Cincinnati looked like a gimmick, kind of like what we do offensively, and Navy just took their heart. Navy just took it. And I think Nebraska, with the resources we have, we could make that thing work. It's difficult to prepare for. We wouldn't have to spend a lot of money in NIL to get certain players, because we're going to get players that a lot of people don't want, like a land of misfit boys. In a way.
I appreciate that, Nate. I appreciate the phone call there. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but we were going a little bit. Here's the thing. Jay, we're not going to be in the business of talking about what to do after Matt Rule, because Matt Rule is the coach of Nebraska. I think that here's the deal. A couple of texts before, we have a unnamed texter says, yeah, we still watch the football team. They just haven't fixed anything over the years. Fred has it going. It's a good team to watch. Unnamed texter earlier said, I think trust is earned, and Fred has earned it now. The past 3 coaches in football have failed to do that. Nebraska ball fan says, I feel like Fred isn't looking for stars necessarily when he is looking for a player, but he knows what kind of player he wants to look at, and with the transfers he's got, either mid-major or they're bench players from other teams, and they come in and they play their roles. I would agree with that, Jay. I mean, all of this is kind of flaring up over the last couple of days with the transfer portal being open on January 2nd through the 16th, but then also the Kenny Minchey news. Nebraska, they thought they had their quarterback really for a week. They thought they had Kenny Minchey before the portal even opened, and they probably did. And ultimately, you didn't.
Yeah, you don't have them until you have them. Look, man, I mean, it's 2 ways to look at it. I mean, it's tough because now once the dominoes start to fall, or people start picking choices, and then when it was a quick little run on decisions yesterday.
Yeah.
And and then Kentucky must have struck out with Sam Leavitt. And they were probably playing, a little bit of footsie there or whatever you want to call it. And then they went right down to the next list. And since you don't have a contract signed, commitment is just, hot air. And so where Nebraska's at, now you're down to the third or fourth tier, trying to figure out who you can bring in, compete, open competition with TJ Lateef and making it more realistic, to do so. And it's hard because you don't know what TJ really signed back for, and whoever now you're negotiating against yourself a little bit. So you have to be able to think clearly and not overextend yourself. And Minshew was going to be hopefully a good prospect, but I mean, at the end of the day, he was a backup.
That's right.
I mean, but he hadn't had a lot of opportunity, and it's the same as TJ. So I felt like you had two guys that are going to really battle it out. And so if you bring somebody else in, it's just rinse and repeat. But it's just at the 23rd hour, it can happen, man. I mean, it's professional sports. You could be locked in to go somewhere else, and you end up getting better off.
There was a lot of curiosity last night, I think, from Husker fans as to there's always the very fine line between, okay, what's committing versus signing. Are these guys committed? Are they signed? Right? Like, because you can sign if the portal's open, you can commit, you can sign. Like, it's not like they have to wait. It's not like they have to wait until the end of the portal to sign over the course of 3 days, and like the 17th through the 19th is your 3-day signing period window. It's not like that, because last night Minchie flips and immediately signs with Kentucky, and I think there were a lot of Husker fans that sat there and go, what the hell? Why didn't Nebraska have him signed to Nebraska when he made the announcement? No.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, you can't blame him. And I think when we talk about the trust of how Nebraska does business, it's like little lapses like that we don't know all the details of, and we're never going to, and that's okay. But it's instances like that, I think that Husker fans do lose trust in a staff saying, okay, this is how they're going to do their job.
Yeah. I mean, it's in my opinion, two variables in signing. Like, I could sign, and essentially they could probably give you a signing bonus.
Yeah.
Right. That's probably all you would have to give back if you decide to sign somewhere else. Now, if I sign my, was it the national letter?
The NLI.
NLI, then I'm locked in. And then that becomes a little bit more dicey.
Yeah.
And, you can do DocuSign. It takes like 2 seconds. And, you got an agent. the contracts are very cut and dry, especially in his situation.
Yeah.
And so that's just probably a learning lesson. And maybe that's why, I just looked at it like, for me, if I knew I kind of had my eyes on Nebraska, and obviously, your agent's going to get you the best deal, because let's be honest, this is probably the only time that he's going to be able to make this type of money, unless he really knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
Most chances are he's going to be back in the portal next year.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, do you really think he's going to perform like a $2 million quarterback in Kentucky with a new coach?
I don't know. There's some draw to Will Stein.
Okay.
Will Stein.
He's never played.
He is not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's never played, so you're not going to perform up to that. I mean,
that's right.
Unless it's because you're playing in a league that's already ready-made. So you're 2 years away, or year two at it. And so if it doesn't go right, then they're going to go, as quick as Kentucky went and got you, they'll get somebody else.
Yeah. This is a big question we're getting, Jay. Huskers P on the text line says, what happened to what Rule said a couple of weeks ago when he said we can now get whoever we want?
I guess everybody has a budget. I mean, the one thing about it, I can only speak of my experience with the Houston Texans. And it's very similar. The one mistake Charlie Casserly made is he started to pay players premium money that weren't good. And he knew they weren't good. But you felt like, because you had to fill positions, you didn't want to foster some of the guys that, like the Fred Wearies and Chester Pitts. Now they ended up playing 8-9 years in the league, but other places. So you have to be very careful that you don't want to overextend yourself or what you're comfortable with. And who knows what the uptick in money was there. It wasn't like, okay, we tripled our money. Whereas Texas Tech, the dude said, oh, yeah, we thought we spent last year? Yeah. That was just on the humbug.
Well, what's crazy
now we're spending more.
What's crazy about Texas Tech, though, and you saw this in the playoff game last week. I mean, they did not have a quarterback.
They were fool's gold offensively.
Yeah, they did not have a quarterback that was ready to take them.
Yeah, and what do they do right immediately?
Yeah.
They go, and that's probably the supply and demand. I think, I think the best thing you can do is stick to your guns, and then you're then also you got to weigh, on your roster. It'll be interesting to see how Chambliss fits in.
Yeah.
Because, the stats are whatever. That's fine. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Mm-hmm.
The tape is what is most important to me, comparable to what we're going to see coming forward.
You're talking Owen Chambliss.
Yeah.
The defensive player.
Right. Because we've been down this O'Shawn Mathis thing.
I would say O'Shawn Mathis. I would say on a somewhat similar trajectory, Marquise Watson-Trent.
Yeah.
Chambliss played a little bit higher of a level.
Yeah.
Right? But
different position.
Yes.
More of a glider.
Yeah.
Tall, lean, skinny guy. Make some plays, but the Big Ten is straight up at you. So that's where he's going to have to adjust his game.
Yeah. Rob Orich has quite as a defensive guy, real quick. Rob Orich has quite the task on his hands going forward.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, he does, because, you lose Keanu Davis. So I'm sure, look, he just was coaching him for a month.
Yeah.
You lose Keanu Davis. You felt like, okay, you get him back. He's going to be in a more advantageous position for him on defense. So you're kind of like thinking about him, and that, you got Cam Linhard and you got Williams, right? So you feel pretty good there in your defense, right? Because you bring in Manning, who's coached really well at the edges. Boom, that's blown up. You look at the Utah game. Okay, maybe got let down a little bit there. You're thinking, okay, second level D line. We haven't really addressed that yet. So that's the big task. The thing that's really good though for him, that he has a blank slate. That he is kind of like when you come in with Tony White. Everybody has to be on their best behavior. Everybody's trying to earn a spot, and they're trying to put on their best effort. So the effort things that you saw at times, and the execution or lack of like football acumen, that ain't gonna happen when this is the first year defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
because in 6 months you could be in the vortex.
It's crazy. Let's go ahead and take a break there. Thanks to Nate for the phone call earlier. Should Nebraska go to an Army offense?
No.
I didn't think so either. No, probably not going to happen. Let's go ahead and take a break. We round out the 9 o'clock hour here, coming up next on The Drive.
Change begins with you. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $22,750 for their time. Study includes 1 2-night stay, 1 3-night stay, and 38 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations. If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right. $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at CoppellCars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine. It'll be breezy and mild. An afternoon high near 58. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds. Overnight low around 33. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies return. The light breeze and warm temperatures. A high near 61. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleckner for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert alongside Jay Foreman here on a Tuesday. Reminder, Peyton Borders, recruiting coordinator for Nebraska men's basketball, will join the show at 10:30 here today. Obviously talk about Husker Hoops and what they've got going on. Obviously 15-0. Jay, we'll talk a lot more about it in the 10 o'clock hour. Somebody earlier on the show, on the text line, said, yeah, let's talk about a football team that's been bad for a decade instead of a top 10 basketball team, which is the talk of college basketball. The first 32 minutes of the show, I talked Husker Hoops. We just talked Husker football for 12 minutes of the show, and we're about ready to talk Husker basketball the entire second hour Initial thoughts on Nebraska's 3-point win on the road, man. 15-0.
Yeah, I mean they always say, and this is where I think this team is different. Now, granted, it's not very early, but it's
You're at the halfway point, pretty
much.
much.
You're at the halfway point, but you haven't started getting into the grind. But this is where I think the team is different, and I was waiting to see last night. Now, Ohio State is not playing at Michigan State or playing at Michigan, right? But they got Thornton and they got Mobley. And they got a veteran.
Mobley's a bucket.
Yeah, right. And then their small forward, number 21, he's been there. They got their 3 main guys. So it's not going to be easy, right? And they got the big German that came over. Normally in these situations, or in the years past, that Nebraska would start slow and kind of get behind the 8 ball, then pick it up. They came right out of the gates.
Yeah.
Right? And then you withstood Ohio State making a run. Then they extended the lead, and then they just gutted it out towards the end. I think their situational basketball is excellent. I think their depth of their roster is probably coming into the season underappreciated or undervalued. And they knew what they had, and I think they felt really, really confident about this team based on the makeup of the team, more importantly. That's mental makeup, skill set, and then the willingness to kind of be able to role clarity and definition, I think was on display.
The player of the night last night, social media is raving about him as well, Braden Frager. 6 of 9 from the field, did not hit a 3, but had 15 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 turnover. Nebraska, 12 turnovers last night on a season where they're averaging slightly above 9 per game, which is top 20 in the country. But still, for the most part, what impresses me the most time and time again about this team is that they win in different ways. I go back to the Oklahoma game. They win 105-99. Then they obviously win a rock fight against Michigan State, where they only make 5 2-point baskets. Then they win last night where Rink Mass and Price Sanford who are going to be your 2 main sources of offense more times than not, were not non-existent, but they were just not playing up to nearly what we expect them to in big time games, especially on the road. And yet when all of that is against you, you still, like you said, come out shooting the ball well. You go up by double digits initially and you kind of hang on to that lead for the most part throughout the first half. You come back out in the second half, you weather a run by Ohio State, and then you actually are able to, you give up the lead, but you still come back with less than 8 minutes left to go in the game against the team in Ohio State that has had 4. What was the stat that they put on? They flashed on the screen. It was 4 comebacks this season when in games that they were down by double digits.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on one side, you're facing a team that's been in the position that Ohio State was in last night countless times this year and has figured out ways to win. And on the flip side, it's like a Nebraska team where we feel like as fans, okay, do they know how to play when they're the hunted? And yet here they are 15-0 and alone at first place.
Yeah, I mean, the ability to come back, there's an old saying is that, you play the same way how you got up by 20 or if you're down by 20, how you got up by 10 or whether you're down by 10. So they know that they can lean on their defense, make some stops and adjust. And that's where when you can adjust when you have 9 guys or however they usually go 9, or can go 9 on their bench and play significant minutes, that they all know exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, and what's the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And they're willing to do it. So if it's your job that game to be, the garbage bucket guy, that's where how Braden Frager, what he did, you have a guy that's extremely athletic, probably on the 4th or 5th guy on there as far as like defensive assignments.
Yeah.
Right now he's able to get some weak side boards, right? Then he's big enough to really kind of secondary break it. But then also he does a really good job. What I call secondary cuts is when the ball goes up, he knows how to track it off the rim, and he's able to use it. And he had a couple good reverses against his buddy Bynum as well.
Yeah, Amari Bynum, former Omaha Bryan guy before he transferred to Link Academy down in Branson, and then ultimately was with the Ohio State Buckeyes. I want to talk about Braden Frager's future and kind of what he projects in your mind over the next 2-3 years for it, because we expect him to be a valuable part of this roster going forward, and Nebraska certainly can. It's a piece you can continue to build around, and also what the future looks like for Nebraska men's basketball. Let's step aside. 10 o'clock hour of the show coming up next.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
January is your reset button. This January 10th, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping in Lincoln is kicking off our 10-week challenge. We combine high-energy kickboxing, powerful strength training, and simple, proven nutrition to deliver real results in just 10 weeks. For a limited time, get $150 off when you enroll today. No gimmicks, just coaching, accountability, and a community that pushes you to win. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Visit fxblincoln.com and start your strongest year yet at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. 2 locations, South 40th and Yankee Hill, North 70th and Vine. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, changing lives 10 weeks at a time.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert. Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of B.J. Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in, hour 2 of the show. Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman alongside AD is hopefully back tomorrow. Just slightly under the weather here today. Appreciate Jay for hanging out. Busy hour or so coming up in 93.7 The Ticket programming. We will be joined in the next segment around 10:25, 10:30 or so by Peyton Borders, the Nebraska men's basketball recruiting coordinator. He'll join us on the Allo VIP line. And then how about this, Jay? To close out the show, legendary comedian Tom Arnold will join the program. And so we have a busy upcoming couple of hours here in 93.7 The Ticket programming. But before we got to break there, Jay, we were talking about Braden Frager, obviously a redshirt freshman, somebody who reclassified from Lincoln Southwest High School, and is a piece that when we look at the future of Nebraska men's basketball, probably somebody that you look like Nebraska could potentially build around in the next couple of seasons. I want to ask you a very generalized question here. How do you see Braden Frager projecting over the next 2 to 3 years in terms of like what type of player can he become for Nebraska?
I mean, I think he could be a 3-level scorer. Obviously, right now he's, playing essentially the normal game, obviously close to the bucket, putbacks and stuff like that, back cuts, and then obviously being able to hit threes. But I think he can be a two-way defender. I think he can guard 1 through 4 if he wants to. So I think that's a phenomenal plus. I think as he increases his range and his shooting ability, I think he becomes more of a dynamic player, potentially off the bounce. Probably needs to improve a little bit more off the bounce, but I think that'll just come with experience. And Nebraska's shown, whether it's with Casey, even Sam Hoiberg, Jacobson, and obviously I'm sure with Braden Frager, I know they have with Braden, considering, we see him play in high school.
Yeah.
They've developed him and developed other parts of his game, and so they'll continue to do it. So, I think, the best thing when you play for Fred and Braden's 6'5", 6'6", he's not 6'7", he's about 6'5". But with that, you can really, really put some pieces around him and him around other pieces. He could be way more effective. He could still be the same player, averaging the same amount of points next year, but he'll increase the other parts of the box score to be more of a dominant player.
What does this do for other guys that are maybe thinking about the redshirt route? Because we've seen Nebraska try to do that with other guys, like Nick Janowski was a guy who redshirted in 2024 or 2024, 2025, that season last year, that ultimately transferred out. But does this help the case for guys that redshirt or that Fred is trying to get to redshirt?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, it's not only Braden, it's not only Sam and Kale. They both, they came in differently. Both of them obviously weren't scholarship players at the very beginning. And then you look at even what they were able to do, even though it was injury related, was with Rink Mass, what they were able to do. And I think Rink has made improvements, and obviously rehab and all that. I think his game has expanded as well. You could go all the way back to where they were able to create a role and go from year one of Derek Walker to the last year where he was kind of like your point forward.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of, but now they can have a plan for you as long as they stick to the plan. And there's obviously a path for when you come out of that red shirt that you're going to get the playing time that was discussed. I think it's definitely an option for a lot of players, especially if they're recruiting high school players.
Yeah.
And that's where and that's a lot on a high school kid, because they all think they're going to play high school and then end up, play 1 year in the NBA, no matter if they're ranked number 1 or number 300 or 400.
Yeah.
But if you get the right mindset and the right situation, you can see the payoff, and they've done a good job at it. You know, and you can't deny that.
One guy that I really was impressed with last night, and I thought we've seen him kind of adjust his games in terms of in his play to how can he effectively impact the game positively, I guess, is Berke.
Yeah.
Berke's been one where there were a lot of times last night in the game where he got the ball outside the perimeter, and whether it was last season, even earlier this season, we would have seen Berke put it up. And last night, not a single 3-point attempted. He was 4 for 4 from the field. He played in 22 minutes, but 7 rebounds, 8 points, 1 assist. Yeah, he had 2 turnovers, yes. But overall, though, Berke was a big part defensively, and he's going to be a big part defensively for this thing going forward, that if you can consistently get an 8, 7, and 2 out of Berke, you're thrilled.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you're getting the efficiency rating or minutes is way like through the roof compared to last year. I think Berke with Price and then Rink, it has allowed them to do things defensively that they hadn't been able to do from a physicality standpoint, size and length, and kind of clogging up the lanes. And it's taken the less physical beating off of Rink, you know, a couple years ago. And then obviously when you bring Braden Frager in there, it's kind of like 2 for 1 right there. And it's look at both of them. They both kind of came in and played for each other 22 minutes and 24 minutes, and you get 25 points or 23 points out of both of those guys. And that's what you want right there, along with some excellent play from Garcia and obviously Jacobson. So I think with Berke, I think it comes down to conditioning. I feel like last year he wasn't, and they would know better than me, but I just feel like he's in better shape this year. So I think they can do more with him. I think when you're in better shape, you can think clear. I think he's like used to the Big Ten and Fred's system now, so you're getting a better player there. I think he's matured, and I think he's probably. I think the team understands him more. The coaches understand him more. So I think it's also a credit to the coaching staff of Fred and those guys. Obviously, Berke came in with a lot of fanfare or whatever you want to call it, and they stuck with him, and they found a way to make him, you know, an even better player. And what is he, 6'9"?
Yeah.
240 some pounds or something like that. When you can at least get him to switch and kind of go 3 through 5, and that gives, you know, Price and Rink a little bit of a break and allows them to play extended minutes, is pretty good deal.
One of the things I want to point out for sure, time with the lead. Nebraska led for 35 minutes and 12 seconds last night, while Ohio State led for 3 minutes and 31 seconds. The other interesting piece that I think illustrates this team really well, bench points. Obviously, Nebraska dominated off of bench points. 22 bench points for Nebraska, 0 for Ohio State. Now, Ohio State's not a very deep team, and outside of John Mobley and Devin Royal, and then even Bruce Thornton, they don't really have anybody that's really going to scare you shooting the basketball. However, with Nebraska, I think that there's a common belief, Jay, that the one thing that can hurt this team is potentially injuries. Right? Like as Nebraska was getting closer to conference play, similar to a lot of other teams, we told ourselves, okay, if there's one thing that can really derail where Nebraska's going, it's a couple of injuries. And it's a key guys. Connor Essegian out for the year. Not necessarily sure how that was going to affect things, but ultimately we've seen guys step up. We've seen Cale Jacobson continue to kind of just, I don't want to say exist or be out there, but he's been able to fill the void of some minutes that Connor would normally have taken. We've seen obviously the growth of Braden Frager. Jared Garcia played 5 minutes last night, but came in and hit a 3-point shot that was much needed at a time. But ultimately, we've seen Nebraska continue to kind of just adjust and fill the void, and they're now past the time of figuring out rotations. And I feel like Fred and his staff have a pretty good idea of how they want this thing to look.
Yeah, I think the worst thing you could do as a coach is just throwing things out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Fred learned, you know, in the first few years. I think he had I always reference it, what he said. He went to Trev with a plan. He executed the plan. It's worked. They've magnified or extended the plan. I think the plan that they originally started with was really good, and then now it's even better now.
Yeah.
That's why you're getting a team that didn't really go in and dominate the transfer portal, but had a lot of guys leaving, a lot of guys coming in, and they were cool with it because it really wasn't overwhelming, right?
You're right.
But it's overwhelming in production. So they went for the people and the player versus a lot of times that, everybody goes for the accolades and then you're just, caught with your pants down late in the season. I think what they've been able to do, and look at Sam Hoiberg, 9 rebounds, 4 assists yesterday. I think he had 8 points.
Yep, that's right. He was plus 11.
Yeah, so
plus minus
when
11.
you think about him and what he's able to do, so you have 3 guys that play extended minutes: Rink, Price, and Sam. And that's what you're talking about over 30.
Yeah. Sam played 35 minutes last night.
Right. So that's what you like right there, and probably a little bit more for Jamarcus Lawrence in a normal game, right? But that's where the tenacity comes from. That's where the pace comes from. That's where when you're not playing, you're playing fast but not in a hurry.
Yeah.
And Fred, what did he say? We get sped up a little bit. They don't. They are able to play at their pace, and they can withstand when you make like a run in your pace. And really, when you think about it, you talked about injuries. The one thing that derails this team is just the rebound margin. If it's within striking distance, Nebraska wins. If they get killed on the boards, Nebraska generally doesn't win. But generally, if it's within that sweet spot, 4 to 6 rebounds, and if it's in Nebraska's favor, that's how you get road victory.
Nebraska had 8 offensive rebounds last night, 38 total. They out-rebounded the Buckeyes 38-29 as a team. I just thought also, the second half shooting from Nebraska was not really good. They were 3 for 14 from beyond the three-point line, 11-29 overall, after a first half where they shot 50% from the field. And I remember, going into halftime, it was one of those things where Rink, I think, had 4 points at the half, and you just didn't expect Rink to stay that cold or that low of production throughout the second half. So I think there was a lot of Husker fans that saw Rink Mass with 4 and Price with less than 10 in the first half and said, okay, you know what? We feel pretty good about where you're at. Not only does Nebraska have the lead after one half of play, but also their 2 most productive scores, I would say, or high volume scores are some of your 2 lower scores for the first half, and you're still out in front. You feel like that's not going to stay put. But Nebraska, even in the second half, they shot worse in the second half than they did in the first half, and yet partially because of their defense, and they just found a way to get it done, which, Jay, I think maybe we're not mentioning that enough, is that Nebraska this season has just found ways.
Yeah, they can play any type of basketball. Maybe it's the shock when they went and they played Texas A&M in the tournament, where they're like, all right, we got to figure out a way to play different. Yeah. And those we need some bigger guys.
Yeah.
And that was apparent where Texas A&M went 6'10", 6'10", and they were really athletic.
They're very athletic.
So, it was a learning lesson, and they came and do it now, and they've been able to gut out victories. They can, like you mentioned, the Oklahoma game, we can get up playing the hundreds. We could probably play a little bit in between, like Kansas State. And then we can dominate, come out and beat the brakes off of Creighton. And then we can go on the road and start out hot, or one player really hot, find somebody else in the second half, a couple guys in the second half, bench at Illinois. And then you can go, like last night, up to odd tip-off time at 5:30.
Yep.
And I'm not a big when does the game start guy, but that's a little bit different. 5:30
6:30 Ohio State time.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Then so that's a maybe. Yeah. Because I was thinking Central. Yeah. But look, you travel first one after a big victory.
Or rather
Michigan
quick
State.
turnaround. You played Friday night and you flew out Sunday.
Yeah. So, you got to get that, and then look, when Rink is a little bit slow getting out of the gates.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it's by shot selection or shots not falling or whatever it is, and same with Price, you're able to get Cale Jacobson and Braden Frager pick up the slack in the first half, or periodically even the second half.
Yeah.
So when you're 8-9 deep, that's good.
Nebraska
productive minutes.
Nebraska in the first half didn't do a great job getting to the line. Only 5 free throws in the first half. Shot 9 of 12 in the second half. 14 of 17. That's the other big thing. Nebraska, for the most part, they hit their free throws when they need to. Jamarcus Lawrence, 6 of 6 from the free throw line last night. Just nails hitting those 2 at the end to make it a 72-69 game. And then just a weird play drawn up by Diebler and Ohio State. A weird thought to get your Christoph Tilley the ball.
That was not very good.
I was surprised to see that. Kind of, I don't want to say bail Nebraska out, because I feel like Nebraska would have probably defended no matter what just fine. But
I'm cool with that shot.
The fact that Thornton or Mobley was not the one that took the shot at the end was surprising to me.
I'm elated.
Yeah.
I'm shaking your hand if Big Man
Yes.
likes that.
Hey, thanks, Jake.
Yeah.
Jake Diebler.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jake. All right, let's step aside. When we come back, Peyton Borders, Nebraska men's basketball recruiting coordinator, joins the show to talk Husker hoops. We'll do that next on The Drive.
An emergency can happen any moment. Here's a few seconds to think about where you'd go. At CHI Health, we stand ready to care for any emergency. Our specialists provide expert care when you need it most and believe healing is more powerful when delivered with human kindness. When seconds matter, know CHI Health St. Elizabeth is accredited in stroke care and offers the region's only ER just for kids. Learn more at chihealth.com/St. Elizabeth Emergency.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Dana Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
January is your reset button. This January 10th, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping in Lincoln is kicking off our 10-week challenge. We combine high-energy kickboxing, powerful strength training, and simple, proven nutrition to deliver real results in just 10 weeks. For a limited time, get $150 off when you enroll today. No gimmicks, just coaching, accountability, and a community that pushes you to win. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Visit fxblincoln.com and start your strongest year yet at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. 2 locations, South 40th and Yankee Hill, North 70th and Vine. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, changing lives 10 weeks at a time.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine. It'll be breezy and mild. An afternoon high near 58. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds. Overnight low around 33. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies return with a light breeze and warm temperatures. A high near 61. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleckner for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the show, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you here as Nebraska men's basketball continues to do their thing here, as we'll be joined by a special guest in just about 30 seconds or so. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline. The Starter Heyman text line is open for you. They are open, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Cable Channel 961. AD out today. He'll be hopefully back tomorrow, as he's just slightly under the weather. But without further ado, let's go to the Allo VIP line, where we're joined by Peyton Borders, the Nebraska men's basketball recruiting coordinator, assistant coach. Peyton, man, I appreciate you doing this on short notice. Congrats on the win last night.
Yeah, Nick, appreciate you having me. Happy to be back on. It's been a quick turnaround these past couple of days, but Big Ten's here, so that's what it's all about. So yeah, we're back at it here in the office now and getting back to work. So it's been good.
I was going to ask you that. So you guys obviously have Indiana on Saturday. You guys come back to Lincoln here this week. What's the schedule look like this week, and what's it been like, since Michigan State on Friday and that quick turnaround to Columbus?
Sure, yeah. So, after the Michigan State, it was an emotional win and everything. So we really try to just focus in on our mental, make sure that we get a lot of mental reps and a lot of rest in those days, recovery, really taking care of our bodies. Obviously Coach was very strategically there to try to save us in these quick turnarounds and our sports science and everything that backs up into that. It helps a ton. And our guys, with the luxury of that is having sharp, high IQ guys who are able to do that, get those mental reps, maybe not a lot of live reps, but to be able to receive information like that and go or turn around and do it in a quick turnaround like that is impressive. So speaks to kind of the guys that we have on this team. But yeah, now this week, we get the win last night at Ohio State. And then today we got massages and recovery all day today, and we're off. And then, we're back at it tomorrow and just kind of taper it into the week, into Saturday, and go and try to get another Big Ten road one.
I mean, just talk about the emotions so far through these first 15 games. Obviously, everybody, you guys are a massive talk around college basketball right now, but kind of just interior, I'm sure, you guys keep it the main thing, as they always say, and it's next game mentality and not trying to make too much of it. But I mean, have you had a chance to really stop and think about the growth that you guys have had over the last couple of seasons? And obviously you and I have had multiple conversations about it over the last couple of years. But I mean, just have you guys really sat back and been like, okay, you know what? We're having a lot of success right now, and a big reason why is because of maybe what we did last year. I mean, have you had a chance to just sit back and like go, you know what? We're doing a lot of really good things right now, and we're going to enjoy this.
Sure. Quite honestly, it's hard to just with the quick turnarounds.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, you don't really have time to just sit here and think about it. But I think that's a good thing. I think just the rhythm and everything that we have going as a staff, as a team, there's just not a time. There's not really a time for it right now. Something that we have been saying is just keeping our walls up, and just understanding that there's work to be done. And we have a ton of team goals, individual goals that guys have preseason, and quite frankly, we haven't achieved any of them. So that it's very easy to get caught up in that and kind of kick your feet up. But I don't sense any complacency from our guys just because of who we have leading this thing. It's when you Rink Mask and Sam Hoiberg and those guys leading this thing with their ability to, keep everybody, keeping the main thing, it's really special. So, it's nice. It's kind of a feel good. Sometimes maybe you can sit back and think about it a little bit, but you do that too much, it can derail you. And so we're just trying to really just hone in on what we're doing, and these quick turnarounds can benefit from that, quite frankly. So.
Husker Hoops assistant and recruiting coordinator Peyton Borders joins us on our Allo VIP line. Peyton, talk about this roster a little bit. I mean, you've been heavily involved. You've been here now quite a while. I mean, you've been heavily involved in this roster makeup and kind of identifying potential guys that have fit for you guys and what you want to do. I mean, what does it mean to you to see all the success that you guys are having, but then talk a little bit about these guys and why they all fit well together?
Yeah, no, I'm just really happy for the guys that, there's some guys who have been in this system for a few years now, and that's rare in today's world. But it just speaks to, the type of character that we have and the culture that's been built from the years past. It wasn't just done last year. It's been several years where this thing has got to this point. But I'm just super happy for the guys that have stuck with it, put their head down, whether it's through injuries or their roles have changed throughout the years. I'm just really happy for these guys. But it just starts with, I think something that's super important with our guys is understanding our system. And that takes, some time. The guys that have been here, they understand it like the back of their hand. And that's where, high IQ and guys who trust one another, who know each other's game and know their own game. And they're confident in that. They're confident in themselves. They're confident in their teammates. And everybody's just moving in the same direction, and it's coach-led, player-driven, as we say, so it's the type of leadership and the accountability that we have within these guys that they know that, listen, as coaches, we can't go out and do it. So you guys have to trust each other, work together, think while you play. It sounds simple, but you guys are flying around, making those rotations and talking to one another, keeping the ball moving, the style of play that, these fans love to watch. It takes a lot of trust through one another and confidence in one another. So I think, that's a huge characteristic that we look for, is just high IQ guys that, want to play our style of basketball that has got us to this point.
And I guess, okay, throughout, this might be a tough question to answer, so I apologize for somewhat putting you on the spot, man. But I mean, like, in this day and age of where resources are such a massive conversation, I mean, how do you guys battle that with finding the right fit, but also making sure that you get the necessary pieces that you need to fill out and supplement your roster? Because now, like, I mean, I don't have to tell you, obviously this has been your expectation every year you guys have been here, and you guys have been steadily and there's a building it, and it feels very stable right now. And so as additional things come your guys' way, how do you guys stay, okay, you know what, let's focus on what got us here, but also we have additional opportunities now.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, quite honestly, it's the foundation that, Coach Hoiberg has laid down and all put in his ear as a staff, as we know what he wants and what type of style of play he wants and what type of guys he wants in here. But that's also the benefit you have, because you can trickle those guys in with the guys who have been here and they know the expectation. And so, you have guys that that are getting in the system. They have a certain style of play that we like, skilled, high IQ guys, but then you trinkle them in with, the Kel Jacobsons of the world and the Sam Hoibergs of the world, the guys where, the Fragers of the world, where they're from here, and it just means a lot to them. And they have that grit, that toughness to them that, you mix that all together. It's worked to this point. So, it's fun to watch, those guys, they really care about one another. They really care about the University of Nebraska, and it's top to bottom. There might be guys who don't get a ton of minutes right now that are just the best teammates, and so that's the biggest thing as well, is, when your opportunity presents itself, to make the most of it. And that's what we've had guys do, so it's just top to bottom, 1 through 15. We have guys who care about one another. And I think that speaks to, just the type of people that, Coach has put in this program. And, it's worked to this point. And like I said, we still have a lot of work to do.
Peyton Borders, Nebraska men's basketball recruiting coordinator and assistant coach, with us here on our Allo VIP line. Couple more before we get you out of here, because we know you're busy. And once again, I appreciate you getting back to me on such short notice, my friend. But as you sit a little bit, I noticed this last night while I was watching the game, you sit a little bit farther down on the bench, and you're kind of right in the middle of those guys. And I'm fascinated to know, like, how have you seen and experienced the evolution of conversations over the last couple of seasons of conversations on the bench in the midst of a game from leaders, if that makes sense? Walk us through some of those conversations that, like, as those moments of adversity hit, and you talked about it as we started this conversation a few minutes ago, that there's a lot of big games coming up. And I think you guys got 16 or 17 left here. I mean, there's going to be some big adverse moments. Walk us through, what are some of those conversations like in the heat of the moment from some of the guys that you're sitting around on the bench?
Sure, yeah. I think it speaks to guys like Coach Lenzer, who, is somebody who during practice we try to simulate adversity the best we can for these past few years during practice. Not giving guys calls in practice and crowd noises, etc. Something that we've tried to implement. Of just trying to simulate adversity, but nothing can simulate it. When your back's against the ropes, you're on the road, or you're down at home, and you got the fans pulling for you and everything like that. But something that I've noticed down on the bench there is just the confidence that the guys have from one another. You hear them, just how they talk to one another, saying like, we've been in this spot before, knowing that the mistakes that we're making, taking them, owning them. Not coming up with excuses. It's just been a thing where, it's a confident bunch that they know that they can rely on one another through adversity. They don't have to go and do it themselves, and, it's been great. And you've seen that over the past years. This isn't just this year. It's been something that has evolved over time. And, that's what ultimately is just leading to this, type of success. But, it's going to, to your point, it's going to take a lot more than that, coming down the stretch. We can't, once you give into that and you try to give into the negativity and everything like that, or, that adversity hits and, you turn away, it can get ugly in this league, as we know. So it can't be this front running type of deal. It can't be first 15 games like that and have it change, in any type of way. So we have to really hone in on that and have face the adversity all the way through the rest of the year, knowing that, again, we haven't done anything. So
last one before we get you out of here, not to give away your entire self-scout. I mean, where are some areas that you feel like relay to Husker fans? Obviously, Nebraska fans are sitting here. Everybody's pumped for you guys, and people are really excited about where you guys are headed and what you've done so far. But where are some areas that you feel like you guys could get better at in terms of, like, because you say it all the time, there's a lot of work left to be done, without giving away, obviously, your self-scouting secrets. That's not what I'm trying to get you to do here. But I mean, at the end of the day, where are some of those areas that you feel like, okay, you know what, we're Husker fans, we haven't even reached our full potential on this?
Sure. Outside of shot making, these last few games, we've been struggling, maybe a little fatigue in there as well, outside of shot. But I think there's always room for improvement of just attention to detail and communicating. I think, it's something that we definitely, you could say, are decent and have shown good flashes of it. But I think there's another level to it that these guys have, and that's what we've been trying to show them is that, listen, we're 15-0. Yes, we've gotten to this point, but we've had some moments where we've had some hiccups. We've had some times where we may had a little luck, right? But that's stuff that, we can't depend on, things landing, falling our way down the stretch. We have to go and take it. We have to go and communicate through these tough atmospheres. We have to lean on each other, and really hone in on practice when we don't get a ton of reps, that your assignments, like the back of your hand when you're on the road, or, when you're trying to get a stop with these crazy fans in PBA, right? So, but there's levels, so I think it's just attention to detail and the game plan and going out and executing that. And then to your point, it's been fairly good to this point, but we know that we've dodged a few bullets here and there, but right now that we got to continue to just hone in on that and never kick our feet up or be satisfied with anything to this point. So we'll just keep plugging away.
Peyton, man, I appreciate you taking the time, my friend. We'll go ahead and let you go. We know you guys are working hard down there. Keep up the awesome work, my friend, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having you on again during the season here.
Yes, sir. No, appreciate you, Nick, and go be ready. It's been fun, so we got work to do. So we'll keep working and keep plugging away.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Have fun.
All right.
There he is, Peyton Borders, Nebraska men's basketball recruiting coordinator and assistant coach, joining us on the Allo VIP line. We'll step aside. Another special guest, Tom Arnold, joins DP and myself when we come back to round up the show here on The Drive.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to start strong, so you can give everything you've got. From plate-loaded strength equipment and functional training areas to treadmills, stair climbers, and free weights. Our equipment is best in class, and our clubs are right around the corner, so you can make this your strongest year yet. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, January 9th. You coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in December, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep the clubs out year-round. Book your holiday parties at Double Eagle Golf and make plans to join them for a New Year's Eve party. Gift cards make a great stocking stuffer for Christmas, and don't forget to look ahead to 2026 as spring leagues begin in February. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more. Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
Hog Wild has a delicious way for you to enjoy beef brisket. It's our open-faced hot beef sandwich. We start with our grilled Texas toast. Add a scoop of creamy mashed potatoes. Load them up with some tender Hog Wild beef brisket. And top it off with our tasty brown gravy. It's absolutely delicious. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Now back to the drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. AD and Nick. AD's out sick today. DP sitting in. And it is special guest time here on The Ticket. And there's zero chance we can get to everything. When you have a commentary, it's zero chance we can get through everything in 12 minutes. Like, there's zero chance. So, but we're going to try. We're going to try. He's been in more movies than we can count. As a matter of fact, he's been in some movies that he can walk in the Brothers neighborhood. Like, this dude's been on with like Medea and Soul Train. Like, two of the black you could possibly be on. So we're going to bring him in. Tom Arnold is coming to town. He's going to be at Howler's Comedy Club on the 18th. He'll be in Norfolk the 17th and 18th for 7 p.m. and 9:30 shows both nights. He'll be here at the Howler on the 18th. The 7:30 show is sold out, but the 4:30 show is open. Let's bring in the comedy legend. Let's bring in Tom Arnold. Tom, thank you for doing this, man. How are you?
What's happening? I'm trying to figure out how to wait.
We might have just lost him.
We lost your.
Yes, are we still on?
There we go. We're still on. We're still on.
Shit, did I mess it? Am I still on, correct?
Yeah, you're still on. We got you, Tom. So this is a great story. Here's the thing. What's funny?
Hold on. I'm gonna. Okay, can you hear me?
We hear you fine.
Gosh darn it, Jax.
No, we hear you fine.
Okay, I'm gonna do. I know how to do this. Give me a moment.
Yeah, this is comedy. This is the best. How's that sound for you?
He just took.
Okay, there's you. There's me. What is happening here?
Oh, you're good. He's rolling.
Okay, what is happening?
There we go. You're good.
I'm gonna start over. Okay, give me a moment.
We'll let him reboot.
He just rejoined, or he just took himself away.
That's
So this is live comedy.
This is
on
live.
here.
This is live radio. This is literally how it happens in the days of streaming. This is what it is. So again, he's going to be in Norfolk on the 16th and 17th. Shows at 7 and 9:30. He'll be down at the Beer House at the Howler. That Sunday, the 18th. Mm-hmm. Welcome back, kind sir. How are you?
What's happening? I apologize. My son was. I block everybody, but my son knows how to get through it, and he does a Find My if he wants to get a hold of me. Find My like iPhone, and it makes a huge emergency sound. It'll go off on a plane, but I do have phones for my kids when they're at their mom's. You never know. But now that they're 12 and 10, I'm not as worried. But sorry, but knocked us off. Sorry about that.
It's fine coming into town. It's interesting because I had planned on being in DC this weekend. I found out you're going to be at the Comedy Loft in DC this weekend. So
that's right. That's right.
So I will probably see you twice over the next couple of weeks.
Well, that makes me happy. You know, Nebraska, I'm from Iowa. So when I see those dates on there, I'm like, will they get it? They're from Nebraska. But I'm teasing. But you guys have, first of all, the Comedy House is spelled like the German way, right?
Yes.
That makes me.
You're directly above a beer house.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. I'm really excited. Plus, I'm Jewish, so you always got a little. But I have found that Nebraska, people think, oh, it's all rednecks, simple farmers. But my experience are the best people in Nebraska are the best people in the country because they if they're going to see comedy, they go out to see comedy. Or rock bands will tell you there's no better place than Nebraska because the fans are fans. Nebraska and Salt Lake City, everybody would think that's not, but the fans are fans. So I have spent a lot of time in Nebraska and mostly drunk. And but it's very fun to go back, and do comedy. Nebraska is one of the first places I went when I started doing comedy at the University of Iowa. They had a little Spaghetti Works, it was called. I couldn't wait to get there because that was a road gig, and they had they had several Spaghetti Works, but the idea is you got free food, which I do not recommend eating a plate, 6 plates of pasta before going on stage, but it was free, and so I'm very excited to be there next week, and shocked that they have a comedy club.
No, it's good to have it back again, and they've got, just for your record, there's the beer house is above, the comedy club is in the basement, and then there next to it there's a speakeasy, really cool speakeasy.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so when you come in, as a matter of fact, they'll ask you to sit on this chair and next to a wall, and it rotates you into the speakeasy.
Oh, so it is original, like when they had Prohibition. It's like that. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Can you imagine somebody who says, and the government says, no more alcohol? People did go nuts. As a matter of fact, you talk about crime. The crime people are like, this is great news. Now we can do it. It's a crime, so now we'll be able to sell a ton of it. It's kind of like drugs. It's kind of like pot, where people are like, no pot. That's a gateway thing. And I realized that the beer manufacturers were sponsoring the no pot is too dangerous thing. And now they've loosened up. And if I could have just smoked pot, I would still be smoking pot. But that was never enough for me. So, I've seen a few comedy clubs where they took an old bank and they made it in the vault of the old bank, and it has some character. For a while it was just, strip mall. We're going to put comedy on the thing. You know this, and there's no character. Now people are like, well, we got to be different. We got to, act like it's an art and treat our customers better. And people, they make it an evening. So I'm very grateful about that. And I loved your introduction to me. I loved your introduction. I did the Tyler Perry movie for a reason, and now I know. But
going to DC. Tom Arnold joined us. He's coming to Lincoln. He'll be in Norfolk on the 16th and 17th. Lincoln, there's one show. There's 2 shows, but he sold out the second show. Tickets are still available. Go to the Howler Comedy Club in Lincoln website and on the social media and get tickets for it. But Tom, in this business that we're in, I've been in this sports radio business for over 30 years. And what you did with the Best Damn Sports Show is iconic. This station and this programming doesn't exist if you guys don't carry the mail for us. So let me shout you out.
Thank you.
Best Damn Sports Show and what you did in this space, creating this kind of comedy, entertainment, sports crossover. What are some of your favorite moments from the Best Damn Sports Show?
Well, first of all, I love sports radio. I love sports in general. So getting an offer to do a sports TV show where you talk about sports, I would have done it for free, but they paid a lot of money. So here's the thing: because we were not a national network, we were like there's 19 regional networks that Fox Sports owned. So you didn't know when we were going to go on. Like, what time your show's on. You can tell people it's on whatever. But we might be at 9:17 at Columbus after the hockey game, or midnight in another market. So we also realized that, we got to try a lot of stuff. And when they first approached me, they know who I am, a comedian. They said, we're trying to put together a show with one athlete from each major sports and then a comedian. And would you come and shoot a pilot? And I said, well, who are the sports guys? And he said, we have John Kruk, who I loved, who's great on Letterman. Like he's got it. But I was like, this might last 6 weeks. But we had such good chemistry, and we didn't really have rules. There's a lot of rules now, and we were just we thought nobody's watching. We're going to do everything, so we did a lot of silly, stupid stuff. Which I have to be honest, the people at ESPN hated the show because we did and a lot of sports. Old school sports people are like they're making sports is a religion to them. You have to treat it with such reverence. And we didn't do that. But now I see a lot of shows that have elements of that show where they've got legitimate sports guys talking about legitimate stuff. And then all of a sudden they got a courtroom set, which is, or they're teasing each other in ways that people just didn't do back then. So I do see that. And, it's very gratifying, but mostly we just had so much fun. I mean, I got to interview my freaking idols. I remember I was sitting between Ernie Banks, I'm a Cubs guy, and Willie Mays on the set. And I'm like, how did I get here? I wish my grandpa could see this. This is crazy. And then they'd want me to ask hard questions of athletes. Like, gotta ask Lance about the doping. I go, I'm not going to ask him. I'm here. I'm a fan. I'm not objective. I'm not objective about the Iowa Hawkeyes or any of my teams. And I also love these athletes. And so what he ended up doing is I go, Lance, did you take steroids or whatever? He's like, no. I go, that's good enough for me. same with Pete Rose. They're like, you got to ask him about it. I'm like, okay. So I asked Pete Rose. He said he didn't do it. Good enough for me. Although then, because we'd always do a segment where I played football with Joe Montana or, box the number one woman, 120-pound boxer or wrestled Kyle Sanderson, Caleb Sanderson, Cale Sanderson, which in a sumo suit, so I could beat him. But we went out the Pete Rose segment he wanted to do was we set up a bowling alley on the Fox lot. And it was cool filming on the Fox lot because there's all the movie stuff and the Star Wars. So we did a bowling segment. And right before we started, he goes, let's bet $500 on this game. Like dead serious. And I'm like, okay. And we did. And he won because I think he probably wins most of his bets. But I just been defending him on the air. And then he's like, do you have 500 cash? I could get it. Let's bet on this. But he took it so seriously because he was betting on it. I could tell he had that thing inside. You see some guys that are betting on sports is fun. Betting prop bets is super fun. Betting on your team is fun and stressful. But there are guys you look at their eyes like, oh no, that's not what this is about. This is just like an addiction, like, they first came out with sex addiction, which I thought was just a great thing that guys could, when they get caught, they go, that's a Hail Mary. I'm going to rehab for sex addiction. But I know from, all the addiction meetings I've had and hosts that it is a real thing. And, they put disclaimers, but generally for 98% of the people, you bet on a game and, gives you more reason to watch it. It's like fantasy. When it came out with fantasy football, I'm like, there's no way. This is the stupidest crap. And now it's a thing. And you get together with your buddies about once a year and do this stuff. And it's a great way for men and women to stay, in contact. Because especially men, the guys that grew up in Iowa, the guys that went to college, high school, we're still good buddies. And we don't talk on the phone much. But if there's an Iowa game, I'll get a text. Hey, you see that touchdown? Because they know we're all watching wherever we live, the same thing. And that's how we bond. And that's why, sports is better than real life. Because there's a beginning, middle, and end. Somebody wins, and then they get to do it next week. And anything is possible. My greatest sports moments are, I'm a New York Giants fan. And because I played quarterback in high school, and in our town in Iowa, Tomo, Iowa, everybody's Green Bay, Bears, Vikings, Kansas City, and they didn't have a helmet big enough for me because I have an 8 1/3 head. So our town, it was such a, you know, we were a broke town, so they could only get a blue helmet, and our colors were red and white. So it's easy to see the guy with the blue helmet. You know he's a quarterback. You know you're going to hurt him. So, but I said, I'm going to make the best of this. I put an NY on the side with electric tape and started studying the Giants. And I got to know everything about them. And then, because I'm lucky, I ended up being friends with the owner of the Giants, who bought half the team. Tish bought half. This guy that made billions of dollars with his brother, owns restaurant chains, hotel chains, but he grew up a New York Giant fan in Queens. And his whole dream was to own half the team, not be involved, but to shake the players' hands when they came out of the locker room. And Bob Tish. And that's what he did. But he bought it for the Mara family, the original, needed money because their only money came from the team. And so he gave them $25 million for half of the team. And now that's worth probably $3 billion because rich guys know how to make money. They make it accidentally. But I got to go to Super Bowls with Bob, and you know, he would try to fix me up with women like Georgia Frontieri. You know, he goes, she likes cowboys. She would like you. But it was just a very cool, lucky thing. And then his son, Steve, was the best man at my wedding, the godfather to his kids. And he got very interested in football, you know, when his dad died. You know, he's a movie producer. But you get to go to the games and maybe ride on the plane and be around the players. And the Giants, the thing about them is they suck so bad. They sucked so bad recently that I called out my friend on social media. You know, when they made Eli Manning sit on the bench, that was just outrageous. That's the low bar because he's our quarterback. We're loyal, but in 2008, the Patriots, who won every game. The first Super Bowl I went to, I think, is '91, where I assume we're going to win. Everybody thinks we're going to win. I ride the family bus to the game. Everybody's like, we got this. And we got crushed. And it was so bad that everybody was so bummed out that I didn't get on the bus. I hitchhiked from Tampa to Orlando because they were so bummed out. So the next time we're at Super Bowl, there's no way we're going to win it. We know that. We go there to have fun. And then also about a minute and a half left, you know, you have the helmet catch. We didn't even have passes to get on the field, me or the Mara kids, because we know we're not going on the field to watch Tom Brady. But miracles happened. And we won. It was impossible, and we won. And that just shows you with sports that that's one of the best moments of my life because it was impossible, and something happened. A couple people made great plays, and then we beat the Giants team. You know, we beat Goliath, and so that could happen any week in any sport, and you know that. So.
Tom, let me ask you a question real quick. Well, first, actually, because I know that did you have an interview scheduled after this? Do you need to go?
Yes,
Okay,
I do.
So here's what
But
we'll do.
I'll talk to you for a minute.
Yes, here's what we'll do. So we're going to play the station ID, and then we're going to close out with Tom Arnold. Nick, if you can hit the button for me, please.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
We are here with Tom Arnold. He's got to run, but he's going to be in Norfolk on the 16th and 17th. He'll be here in Lincoln on the 18th. The 7:30 show is sold out. Tickets are available. We have several of our listeners who are texting in that they've already got their tickets for the show. Tom, they're excited to see you. Tom, if you would please, kind sir, give the 30-second elevator pitch. I know you're a Hollywood guy. Give me the 30-second pitch why they should come see you at the Howler Comedy Club here in Lincoln.
Okay, first of all, I have to say, when Iowa beat Nebraska the first time, You know, we were suddenly legitimate because Nebraska killed us, and then all of a sudden we beat them in a game, and it's one of those moments where this is a game changer for the Hawkeyes. This really is. We're used to going to Lincoln, seeing us being in a sea of red, the only black and gold people, and getting crushed, but that meant so much to us. Okay, they should come because we'll have fun together. They'll hear stories they might know a little bit about. They'll hear stories about my successes, mostly my failures, because that's funny. And then afterwards, we'll hang out. Because I have kids in my house all the time. Kids sports, sleepovers. I'm around kids because my kids are young and I'm a single dad. But when I go on the road, it's adult time. Like these people come out there, might be on a date or with their moms or dads. And then after the show, you have your merch for my heart camp. But I'll go on stage for 75 minutes and spend 2 hours because people will tell me the most intimate things that we have in common. And it's an honor. And I get to hang out a little bit. And we're going to have fun. You'll see a great show, surprising show. Please come. I hope you come too, so I can talk to you in person, so I can ramble on more. Get your ear, talk about sports.
Tom Arnold, thank you, kind sir. Actually, I will probably see you in D.C., and then I will definitely see you back here in Lincoln. Tom Arnold, ladies and gentlemen. Tom, thank you, kind sir, for all that you're about to do. Don't go anywhere one-on-one with DP. We'll take over 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Thank you, buddy. Okay.